There was a Shinigami. As rain fell on the stony pavement, he stood on the road opposing our small house. I couldn't see him clearly, but I could see him from the second-floor window. No, he could see me standing in the second-floor window. He was finally here to punish me. That was what I thought. Suddenly, a strange relief and happiness filled my chest. No doubt I had been waiting for this very moment. I stepped away from the window and made my way towards the front door, in order to welcome the Shinigami inside. I reached the front door. Heavy rain pounded against it. I reached for the lock. It was frighteningly cold, like it hadn't been opened for several hundreds of years. I turned the handle with all my might. The door slowly opened. I left the door ajar. The Shinigami stood beneath the white streetlight, countless raindrops reflecting beneath it. He wore a black polo coat and hat that I knew well as a mask of death upon his face. In his hands, covered to the fingertips in black gloves, he held not an umbrella, but a large knife. For a moment, I stared at that mask covering his face. Slowly, it felt like I was swaying on the spot, and my vision blurred. His height and slender build were familiar as well. Suddenly, I heard footsteps mixed in with the rain. Focusing my eyes, I saw the Shinigami was walking towards me. Right foot, left foot. With each step, the Shinigami filled more of my vision. The sound of the rain gradually grew smaller. Bang. I shut the front door. The rain pounded noisily against it. I came here to open that door for the Shinigami. And yet, for some reason, I closed it. Pitter-patter, pitter-patter. Footsteps echoed on the other side of the door. Then, the door in front of me suddenly started getting smaller. I was walking away from it. I was walking away from it rather quickly. Next thing I knew, I was running down the hall. Pitter-patter. The footsteps stopped on the other side of the door. I couldn't move, like paralysis had gripped me. Creak. Something creaked behind me. I turned my head like an owl in the direction of the sound behind me. The door slowly opened. The Shinigami appeared in the gap. In the gap between the mask and coat, a delicate white neck peeked out. It was pale and beautiful, just like it had always been. Ah, it's my Shinigami. I was convinced of it. At that very same moment, "Don't come any closer!" I screamed, my voice hoarse. Then I ran. Pitter-patter. A sound echoing nearby woke me up. Where on earth was I? Was I in the closet on the first floor? A moment later, I heard the sound of rain. This was the smallest room in the already small house. If I recalled correctly, I was running from the Shinigami. Running? Why did I run away? I was waiting for him. And yet, I was scared. Bang, bang, bang. Suddenly a loud noise interrupted my thoughts. Was the Shinigami trying to open the locked door to this room? I won't forgive you, the Shinigami said on the other side of the door. That's right, I thought. I couldn't even forgive myself. As expected, the Shinigami's voice was familiar as well. I ran again. A feeling I'd tasted numerous times up until now spread throughout my mouth. I was just like a child who'd done something wrong and was waiting to be punished by their parents. I'm opening the door now. The wooden door shook and then softly unlocked. That mask slowly entered my vision. The silver glint of the knife in his hand reached the back of my eyes. I realized that the pointy end was already pointed at me. The Shinigami's slender arm trembled as he prepared to scoop out my flesh. Bang! My body sprang forward and smacked into him. At the same time, I regretted seeing the knife enter my field of vision. As I expected, the Shinigami easily went flying. Just like he always did, the Shinigami's slender body went tumbling to the floor. Clang! The knife fell to the floor. The Shinigami panicked and tried to pick it up. I grabbed his wrist and picked up the knife myself. The rainwater on his skin felt strange to the touch. It always felt like this. In my cruelty, I always stole what was important from you when you were powerless. I tossed the knife aside and ran upstairs. I wanted to get far away from that place where I messed up. I could hear someone coming up the stairs. This time, I didn't look back and opened the door to the bedroom, flinging myself inside. The Shinigami entered the room. I grabbed something from the window and tossed it. An empty glass bottle hit him in the head and broke. The sound of the glass breaking was much louder than I expected. On top of that, I was so terrified that my screams seemed to echo somewhere far away. The glass shards were brighter than the room itself, reflecting the light from outside. The ego that wants to resist the impulse to do such a thing, and the conviction that it would not be able to resist it, were dizzying. I shoved him out of that circle like a bullet, sending him flying from the bedroom. Then I closed and locked the door. What on earth was I doing? I was fully aware of my cruel past, and I deeply regretted doing that to you. The act of living was both shameful and pathetic. Every time night fell, I remembered how terrifying I looked, and yet, I kept repeating the same act, over and over. Didn't I tell myself over and over that sins would be met with punishment? And wasn't that time right now? I turned with dry eyes to the door and saw you there on the other side. The rain beating against the bedroom window urged me on. Go on, open the door. The rain was so loud. I reached out for the door. The door opened. The Shinigami peeked inside. He pointed the sharp ending of his folding knife towards me. Rainwater seeped into his belly through his black coat. At that moment, I felt something stir in my consciousness again. Immediately, I closed my eyes and desperately tried to shut it out. Something just above my face smelt metallic. I could no longer hear the rain. At the same time, I felt a clasp come open. I opened my eyes. The figure on the other side of the mask seemed a little frightened. I jumped onto the Shinigami. I put my hands around his neck and squeezed. That strange neck, white like pottery. The Shinigami struggled. The face I knew well beneath the mask warped. That painfully familiar voice screamed. Contrary to appearances, my fingers dug easily into that soft, warm neck, pressing through the flesh to the bone. It was like I was carrying out somebody else's thoughts. I can't stop now. I can't change anything, so what else can I do? Feelings of resignation rose within me. And thanks to that, it was like I came to see the horrible deed I was carrying out as righteous. A short while later, the Shinigami stopped moving. The rain grew louder. At the same time, that feeling I naturally expected grew larger and larger inside me. I could feel my brain wrinkling my face. Sweat squeezed out of my body and into my eye. It dripped from my face to the mask below, rhythmically, like the second needle on a clock. I stared at it without blinking, as it formed wrinkles on the mask.